Hello and welcome once again, YouTubers, to another, yes, if you can believe it, another blind unboxing video. That is right, from CGC, and this bad boy right here, contains some books that I have submitted under the economy tier. That's right, the economy tier, because this has a myriad of different ages in it. All of them typically higher value, I hope. And this is going to be a blind unboxing, which means I have not seen the grades online. I didn't peek, so we are going to find out together. So if you're curious of what the books are and the grades that got assigned to them, come on back after the short video intro. We are back once again. Thank you very much for joining me. Comic Sniper here, along with my lovable sidekick Mark III, my flying Iron Man. Say hello as we present to you another blind CGC unboxing video. This is the box in question right here, and as I stated earlier, this is a economy tier. Typically, economy tier is something that has a value of over $200, and it can be a makeup of different ages, whether it be bronze, silver, modern age, that kind of stuff. But it's all dependent on the value, and typically it will take a little bit longer. Now, funny story on this, just wanted to share with you something about this, is I submitted this a few months ago, quite a while ago, and I like to pay attention online because they let you know when it's being graded, when it's done, that kind of stuff, when it's being shipped out, and when it does, they of course will give you a tracking number so you can find out when the package it's on its way. Now, when this one got to the point where it was finished grading and it says it was ready to ship, I also submitted a modern submission right before that, and that was kind of in the queue. So this one was typically, a couple of days away from being shipped, given the time frame, that kind of stuff. So I waited and I waited, and then it took quite a while. And then when I finally did see the modern submission go into grading, finish grading, and actually be shipped, and it stated that it's shipped, and where I could get the tracking number, this one was still pending. So I actually called them up and just because now I got worried, and to find out what was going on, why it was being held. And what I got was pretty interesting. The guy at CGC that I was talking to said that it was my fault, or my credit cards being held as far as the payment. Now, as soon as he said that, I was very skeptic, because I know that this has already been paid for. They will take the payment out pretty much right away, so I know the payment had gone through because my credit card's already been built. Well, that was an issue, and that was quite a while already. So they've had the books already, and then of course, so I pressed them on it. Said, hey, I'm trying not to be rude. I'm trying to be respectful, and I said, listen, if that's the case, that's very unnerving, because I didn't hear anything from my credit card company, and I didn't hear anything from you guys as well as to why there was a delay, or if there's a delay. And I just kind of wish I was notified, but maybe I can check up on my end what the problem might be. So maybe you can let me know what that is. And he says, oh, I don't know that. It's the credit department. So I said, okay, maybe you can pass me to the credit department and they can give me some more information. And therefore, so this doesn't happen again in the future, I'll contact my credit card company and I will deal with them, since it's not you guys' fault from what you're saying. And he says, oh, well, don't worry about it. We're sending it right away anyways. It's going to be shipped out right away. It's already been taken care of. And I said, I don't really like my credit cards, or, my payments and things like that being out. And all of a sudden, they're creating problems for you guys. I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again in the future. So I will settle it for you, And then so let me, pass me over to your credit department and I'll talk to them. and he went off, put me on hold. A couple of minutes later, he came back and he says he apologizes, but it wasn't our credit card company. It wasn't my credit card company at all. It was them. They had it in the vault and they forgot about it. I can't lie. So he's like catching them on a lie. Apologized to me about it. Said, listen, we had it in the vault. We had it in there. We forgot that it was being held. Unfortunately, and by the time you let us know now, we are going to make sure we ship it out to you right away. I'm like, oh, okay. So you're saying I don't have to contact my credit card company? It's like, yeah, no, you don't have to do that. We'll make sure it gets out to you right away. So funny thing, it's kind of I just wanted to share that story with you guys of catching CGC on a lie based on the fact that they made me wait several weeks longer than I needed to after they already had these books graded and ready to ship out. So I could have made this video a few weeks earlier. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys first, and hopefully you found that entertaining. I found it frustrating, but here we go. One more thing before we go ahead and open this. Just wanted to go over what I'm planning to do with this video. I'm going to open the box up. I'm not going to look at the grades. I'm going to hide the grades, and then when I do the reveal of each book's grade, I also want to share with you the grader's notes that are going to be assigned to these if I get any. Okay, so I don't know the grades and I don't know the grader's notes, so therefore I wouldn't know if the grader's notes are even assigned to the books or not. But I did this before on another video and I got positive feedback on that, so I will be following that same format, so you will know why. Hopefully we will know why these books got graded the way they did. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna cut into opening the package, revealing the books and revealing the grades, and then with the magic of editing, I will cut into the grader's notes, and we're gonna go that way. All right, so stay tuned for that. This is the first book we have for you guys today for our economy tier submission. That is Shazam #1. This is, of course, first appearance of Captain Marvel in the Silver Age, hot on the heels of they just released the Shazam movie. Once again, since same as last time, I'm gonna do my prediction. I have some of my notes available from before I submitted this, after I inspected it and pressed and cleaned, some of my own books. And then what I will do is I'll give you my honest prediction, spot on prediction, which means I'm not going to do a range. I know some people do that, but I will put myself out there and see what happens. I know the last time I did one, the first one I did, I basically got them all wrong. I did not have one right prediction at all. Now, most of the time I predicted lower and the grades were actually higher, except for I believe one book. But regardless, that was my prediction was actually all wrong. I didn't even get one single one right. But hopefully we'll do a better job this time around. So let's get to it. My prediction for this one, of course, not like super high grade. But it is high enough that it is worth slabbing. And let me see my prediction. Right, okay. I predicted a 9.4. Okay, so it's got its flaws, but it is really high, with pretty high grade, and they're definitely very presentable. So let's see what CGC thought of this book, and it is broken. 9.4. All right, white pages. So we're on a roll, or we're off to a good start. Not on a roll yet, but we'll see. Okay, so that's awesome. I'm glad I got one right so far. And with the magic of editing, we are also going to cut into the grader's notes. Should be right now. Here we go. So grader's notes for Shazam #1. As you can see, 1973. Where are we here? 1973 DC Comics. Okay, so for their graders notes, they had light bands right top of front cover. Okay, and then very light spine stress lines that breaks color. So let's look at the book itself. Here it is. I'm just gonna pan out a bit. So as I said, we got the 9.4, but it says let's address that light bend right top front cover. Right top of front cover. Okay, so it's saying, now that's very odd. Take a look at that. There is a, sorry guys, this is a white cover, so I don't know if this is showing up, but as you can see, it's right there. There's an ever so light bend. Wow, so this would have gotten higher grade, possibly. Now, I don't know why that's there, because that is not breaking color. And that is not something that I had on my notes, and something that I would have easily have been able to press out. I see it. I do see it. It's a very light. It's really a light bend. So I don't know. Now, there is a couple of spine ticks on this that does break color. I believe there's one right there. I don't know if you can see that. And possibly right there as well. Or maybe even that one. So there's at least two spine ticks. One of them breaks color for sure. Very slightly, but it does right there on right by Superman. But it is very light break, so it can still, I guess if that upper right that they have there. Now, very worrisome that is actually there, because that is not a hard defect to press out, and this book was, the entire book was pressed by me, make sure that everything was up to snuff. So don't know why that's there. So very curious indeed. All right, but regardless, we did get the right prediction, 9.4 for me, and that's what the grade is. So happy with that. I guess my next dilemma will be whether I will get this book cracked out and maybe repressed, because it might get a 9.6 if that's the case. I don't know if the value, I'll have to check whether the value for this book is worth it or not. That's one thing I gotta address. So, all right, so that's the first one, and we'll move on to the second one, and let's look at the book and the grade coming up. All right, next book up. Here it is. It is gonna be Thor number 165. Definitely a good book to have. This is, of course, the first full appearance of him, which is actually Warlock. So, of course, as you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, or AKA Asgardians of the Galaxy now. For every one of you who already seen Endgame, if you haven't already done so, shame on you, because it's definitely an awesome movie to watch. And of course, having Thor right there as well. And of course, the last Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the teasers is having Adam Warlock, slated to come on board to the MCU. So this book definitely has tons of value. Is gaining a lot of value right now. My prediction for this book is 5.0. So let's see if CGC agrees or disagrees, and that is way to go, Idaho. 5.5. Okay, so I got a wrong prediction, but I was lower than what CGC decided, and it says cream to off-white pages. So, all right, I'm not upset at that, but definitely that is one wrong prediction on my part. All right, so let's see what CGC thought of this book, and let's see what the graders notes are right now. Okay, here we are for the graders notes of Thor number 165. Of course, first full appearance of him, Warlock. This is 6 June of 1969, so definitely in and around the Silver Age to Bronze Age, and definitely not a high grade copy. I predicted 5.5. It got a 5. I predicted a 5.0. I got a 5.5. So I was wrong, but higher grade than I predicted. Okay, so definitely should have a lot of graders notes. As you can see here, we've got about 5 lines. Moderate rub, full right of front cover breaks color. Moderate spine stresses lines, spine stress lines breaks color. Moderate wear, top of front cover breaks color, right? Sorry, I was just looking at the same time. Small chip out right bottom of front cover. Small multiple tears with crease. Left top of front cover breaks color. Okay, a lot to break down here. A lot of these we can kind of see already, and I kind of showed with it. So let's start with the first one. Moderate rub front right of front cover breaks color. Yes, that is true. As you can see, there is color loss right there. Since it's black, it really shows up the color loss. You can see some right there, and as well as right there. Moderate spine stress lines, of course. You can see the stress lines right there, and a few more right there. All breaking color, definitely in there. Moderate wear, top of front cover breaks color. Moderate wear, I think they're talking about, let's say here and maybe here, because it says small chip out, right? This is that chip I showed earlier right there. The small, not even a 1/4 inch chip. And then of course small multiple tears with crease, left top of front cover, and that is like the marble chipping, slight marble chipping right there. Surprisingly, come on, there we go. Can you see that? Definitely where it loses some color right there. And the back on this is actually quite nice. Take a look at that. A little slight discoloration, a little bit of tanning. Now I did have some staining. I believe there was like here. As you can see, this has been cleaned, this has been dry cleaned, but there's some light staining right there. As well, I had marked down, which they didn't write down. There's a ever so slight like moisture stain that I had right here. It's just a line. It's just a little light line, but it kind of discolors it. There's a little bit of discoloration, so that's why. I mean, that with all of the faults on this, definitely it is going to be right in that grade, whether it be the interpretation is 5 or 5.5. It's going to be right in that range. So all in all, happy with the grade, even though I got it wrong. Okay, all right. So off to the next book. Let's find out what that is, and let's look at the grade. Here we go with a Silver Age book, and this one has to do with some of the recent Marvel movies and what they're going to be doing in the future, and a very significant part of that, because this is Marvel Superheroes number 13. Of course, the significance of this is the first appearance of Carol Danvers. As you know, it also says second appearance of Captain Marvel, but as we know, Carol Danvers goes on to become binary, as well as Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and then Captain Marvel in the future. And she is already in the MCU as Captain Marvel, our resident and very famous Mary Sue, if you know that term. But that's not here nor there. This book is definitely hot and definitely has value. My prediction for this one is 5.0. So we're looking at a mid-grade. And let us now see what CGC says. 4.5.
Oh, come on!
Yikes. Okay. Wrong. My prediction is wrong, but off by half a point. So I guess they thought the stuff that's on here is a lot worse than what I thought. Maybe they found more stuff. Hopefully we will find out. So we're going to go right into the grader's notes and see what CGC says. Let's look into that now. Up next is Marvel Superheroes number 13. Of course, this is March 1968. CGC says there's a light stain to cover. Okay. Moderate creasing to cover. Moderate split left top of front cover. Okay. So that's what the survey says. Let's take a look at the actual book. So let's start with the light stain to cover. Did I have that? Lower spine. I don't seem to have on my notes a stain to cover. And I'm not seeing any of that. Any stains. Very interesting. I don't see any stains on this, and they didn't have it on here. So looking at the back cover, possibly this one right here. That's more of a foxing, you can see there. That's more foxing. So I don't know if that's what they mean by that, because that's on the back cover. They're not specific whether it's front cover or back cover. So and there's less that you can see from the front cover. So I'll take it as that, but I'm not seeing it, and I didn't have it mentioned in my notes. So something interesting for that one. So I'll say, okay, so we got the moderate creasing to cover. Creasing, yes, we've got creases right here. All of them break color right there. Here as well. Nothing we can do about that. They all break color, as well as down here. And several ones right there. So yeah, we got that. And then moderate split, left top of front cover. That's going to be hard to see. But upper spine 1.5. There's about a 1 inch to 1.25 inch tear. So I did have that written down too. Definitely, I even had the lower split that was right there that they didn't mention. So I guess they're not with everything else, and as well as that one right there. So with everything else, they didn't bother mentioning those tears. Oh, here's when you can see it a little bit better. The tear. This tear goes from here to about there. So that's what that is. All right. Sorry that my camera's not wanting to cooperate with the focusing, guys. Okay. But that is what we got, and so I'm not terribly upset with that. That is only a half point lower than what I predicted, but it is what it is. Off to the next one. Let's take a look. Okay, really excited to have this one graded. Of course, I am talking about this book right here. This is Tomb of Dracula number 10, and a very significant book, definitely, because this is the first appearance of Blade, the vampire slayer, right there. I've never had this book graded before. This is the first time. This is not going to be a high grade by any means, but this is definitely significant. We have talks of another Blade movie coming down the pike, so excited to see what they do. The very first ones with Wesley Snipes was done very well, so excited to see whether they can make it as good or better. For sure, this is in the lower grade, But I'm predicting 3.5. Hopefully CGC agrees with me. Let us see. Here we go. 4.0.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this.
Another one that's wrong. Well, this I'm happy when it goes upwards, but still, they decided they're not agreeing with me today. Okay, so 4.0 versus my 3.5. Still a good, still definitely a good grade, and we'll find out why CGC put this grade on this book. And we're going to cut to that right away. So let's go right into that now. So another fantastic book coming up. Here it is, Tomb of Dracula number 10. And that is the first appearance of Blade. Definitely a huge key. Something that is a must-have. A very important book. And that is 773. Of course, here is the grader's notes that CGC gave me. For heavy spine stress lines to cover. Light staining to cover, as well as multiple tear on the spine. Okay, so my prediction of this was a 3.5. Of course, you already know it. I got it wrong. It was a 4.0, but it was on the upside. So let's take a look, see if we can find this heavy spine stress lines to cover. Yes, I agree. Look at all that. There is a lot right there. And even in the back, you can see it right there. That's a tear right there, as well as that. So there's a heavy stress lines there. Light staining to cover. Did I have that? Let me see. A little bit of page soiling. Yeah, right there. As you can see, there's some right here. And here as well. So there's a little bit of moisture staining. Not so easy to see in the front. I don't think there wasn't anything on the front. Nope. And then the last one says multiple tear on the spines. Yes. We do have that. Definitely, that's a tear right there. And of course, we talked about that one right there, and as well as that little bugger right there, and another one right there. So we do have them. So that is accurate. I was a little harsher on my grading because I thought this was not going to get more than a 3.5, but CGC saw fit to give it a 4.0, and I don't know if that's a gift grade or not, but it's not too bad, right? It's in the by half a point usually. That just means that they were a little more lenient on it in that regards. All right, so we have 2 more books left coming up. So I've kind of cherry picked. I didn't look at the grades, but I did cherry pick to make sure that I saved the 2 best books for last, and you'll understand why. So here it is, the second to last book we have. Bam! There it is.
Somebody stop me!
Detective Comics number 359. First Silver Age appearance of Batgirl right there. This is Barbara Gordon. Okay, so and this is also an origin issue. So definitely a great book to have. Super key. Excited to have this one graded as well. As you can probably see, not a super high grade by any means. And of course, there is rumors of Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, coming up in the DC universe. So we will see if that happens. And with that, with the rumors, this issue is definitely in high demand. It is already up in value. This is a very expensive book, especially in mid to higher grade. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those. This is not one of those. But definitely in any grade, this is a great book to have either in your collection or to sell or trade. All right. So my prediction for this one, hopefully we'll get this one right. 2.5 is my prediction. CGC says 3.5.
Show me the money.
Wow, a full grade higher than what I predicted, which means once again I am wrong. Why? Maybe I should rethink my grading standards. What do you think, guys? It's I mean, I guess I'm lower. You know, I'm expecting lower, but I'm getting higher, so that's a plus. But I don't know how you guys feel. It's like, you know, this guy is out of his rockers. I'm telling you, his grading is terrible. Maybe I'm selling my books too low. I gotta rethink that now. Maybe my raw books that I've sold, maybe I've graded them too low and I've kind of undervalued them. Who knows, right? Anyways, guys, let's cut into the graders' notes from CGC and see what they say about this book right now. So this is another huge key. Of course, we've got Detective 359, Detective Comics 359, number 359. This is January 1967. So first appearance of Batgirl. This is Barbara Gordon, and of course, and the origin story as well. My grade prediction was 2.5. CGC survey says nope, 3.5. You are going to get a lot better than what you thought of. Let's see why. Okay. So their grader's note says detached centerfold, heavy creasing to, oh, you know what? I think the detached centerfold might have been, because I thought maybe 3.0 was the highest you can get on a detached centerfold, but it might be, I could be wrong on that. Could be a lot. I'm wrong on that, but it's, I'll have to change my my idea on that detached centerfold. Heavy creasing to cover. Okay, heavy spine stress lines breaks color. Moderate staining to cover. Staple detached top of cover. Okay, that's a lot to unbox, or so let us get to the nitty-gritty of this. Okay, let's start with the first one. Detached centerfold. I can't show you that. Let's just let me see if I have that centerfold detached. Yes, I do have that. I agree. So that is in there. Heavy creasing to cover. Yes. Take a look at that long ass crease right there. We've got some creasing right there as well, and there is a printer crease right here too, if you can see that. Okay, and then heavy spine stress. Always look at that, easy to see. So right there, sorry guys. Okay, and then so check, that is in there. Breaks color. Yeah, moderate staining to cover. I believe that is, they're referring to this one here, as well as this and that. Okay, so that is some of the staining right there as well. So yeah, I got that as well. And then staple detached top of cover. Yes, that staple, the top staple did get detached on this. That is why I graded it 2.5, because of of course all the flaws in it, but also the fact that the cover has a pop staple on the top and the centerfold got detached. But I will have to reevaluate my idea of grades regarding pop staples on this. So here it is, boys and girls. I have saved the best for last, and this one is very special. Definitely a holy grail for most people, including myself, and you will see why. And I am talking about, ta-da!
Say hello to my little friend!
This is it right here. Incredible Hulk number 81. Now, this is kind of bittersweet for me, because as you can see, it has a qualified grade. I've never gotten one before. I don't know how to feel because I really don't agree with the green label of qualified grade because I know this is missing the stamp. So it says stamp missing from page 10 does not affect story arc. So it's incomplete. So, okay. As far as I know, and this is what I understand how CGC does this. Now, qualified grade means a grade that they give you because they think the book has a higher value if this was not there. Which means if the book had its stamp, this is what it would have gotten. So I don't understand why we're playing with if, ands, or buts, right? Because, yeah, what if this book didn't have the interior pages? It would have got this grade. You know what I mean? Like this book should be graded because of the stamp missing. And I was fully expecting the stamp to be graded with the stamp missing because I knew that. Had that in my notes. So for them to grade it as a qualified grade, I guess that's my fault too, because I should have known, and I didn't think of this when I sent it in. I could have. I know CGC will grade this as a blue standard label, universal label, if you ask them to. If I had put a note on this book saying please grade as a universal label, blue label, versus, and then instead they went ahead and gave me a qualified label, qualified grade. So that is on me, even though I don't like it. So which means we are gonna get, typically what this means is I will get a higher grade than my prediction, because the book, as you can see, it's got writing on it. Larry, I don't know what the heck that says something in there, and lots of spine issues, creases. This is not going to be a lower grade, definitely, even with this, even if it had the stamp, right? But without the stamp, my grade for this book that I assigned was 1.5. That would be typical of this book, and I believe with the stamp missing in a universal grade, I believe the highest I've seen in a universal grade with a stamp missing is 3.0. Okay, somewhere around there, maybe 2.5 at the most, or 3.0. That is a high grade copy with the stamp missing. But since this is a 1.5 with pretending not to have the stamp missing, because that's what the qualified grade is, I don't know what. Now I'm kind of stumped. I don't have a prediction of a qualified grade. I only have a prediction of a universal grade. So what would I give this grade if it had the stamp still in it, in this shape? 2.5? I mean, there is a lot of, 2.5 to 3.0. Like I said, I wish my grade is a 1.5 with the stamp missing, universal grade. So I'll take a shot. I'll say 3.0. Okay. I can't remember all the stuff that was wrong with the book, and try to give it a qualified grade. So I don't agree with the qualified grading. That's just kind of playing in the realms of fantasy, in my opinion. For me, all grades should be based on the actual book, in the actual condition that it's in at the time of grading. That should be the best and honest way to grade things. So anyways, that's just my opinion on that. Yours could be different. You could let me know what you think of that in the comment section. But here we go. I will go ahead and throw a 3.0 out there. Let's see. Qualified grade. 3.5.
Are you serious?
Well, that means I have gotten a lot of grades wrong. Okay, so far I only got one grade right, but this one's not quite fair because I didn't have a qualified grade in my prediction, so I'm completely off of of what that is. So, but that was pretty close still, right? 3 to 3.5. So that's what we have. And of course, as you can see, this is the first full appearance of Wolverine. This I have more than one copy of this. None of them super high grade. They're all around this grade right here. Actually, sorry, they're blue labeled this grade because this is the only one I actually had that had the stamp missing. That's why I wanted to. I didn't want to have to value too much because of course my other ones are higher value. I didn't want to have to pay for that as well. I think that's wrong to have to, for me to give CGC more money just because my books are more valuable. They're not doing any more to slab this any more than they're slabbing a modern book. As far as insurance is concerned, that should be up to me. That's my thoughts on that. So definitely super happy with having this book, regardless of whether the value stamp is missing or not. And well, guess there's always a first for everything. So this is my first CGC qualified grade. So let us cut into the grader's notes and let's find out what we have from CGC on this. Well, we already know one thing. Let's find out what the other ones are. Last but not least, we have the Incredible Hulk 181. But let's take a look at CGC's grader's notes here. We have heavy creasing to cover, Marvel value stamp. Yes, it's already on there, so check. Does not affect story. Moderate staining to cover, and then moderate writing top or front cover. So that's what they have, and these are actually pretty easy to see, because as you can see, we have heavy creasing to cover. We have heavy creasing. There's a long one right there, all along the edge right there. There's a tiny bit of chipping as well. As you can see, we've got creasing right there. So, and of course, marble chipping and heavy lines and all kinds right there. Of course, I can't show you the value stamp, but it does say it on the label. Moderate staining to cover. Yes, there's staining right there. You can see some kind of a grease stain right there. I don't think the back, oh yeah, the back has some light ones as well right there. I didn't bother doing a huge cleaning on this because there was no point. Some things are just not going to help regardless of which, so I don't even bother putting the effort in sometimes. And of course, writing, we've got the writing right there, so that's really easy to spot. So that's what they had. I also had that's about right. I put a few other things, like I said, the little bit of soiling as well, and then some spine tears. Oh yeah, okay, right. It was the blunting and heavy kind of blunting and color losses right there. I put down as well as here. So I guess that's not that irrelevant. I guess they just kind of lumped it all in with that. So that's what we have. All right. So that is my very first economy submission of 2019, guys, and also my very first qualified grade of my Hulk 181. This is the only one I have with the value stamp missing, so the rest of them, when I do get them graded, they should be coming back universal grade, so that's not the issue. All right, so that's what we have for you guys today. Thank you very much for joining me. Once again, if you are already a subscriber to my channel, very huge thank you and appreciation to all you guys. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot, grows my viewership. And then of course, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, share, like, and hit that notification bell as well. That helps me out quite a bit, lets me know that I'm on the right track and doing the right things, guys. And of course, as always, leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this qualified grades. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of things that I've gone over. Again, the format, whether of me cutting into the grader's notes, as well as the predictions, all that kind of stuff. What you thought of my predictions, maybe what your predictions are as well. We can talk about that as well. All right. So with that, I appreciate you guys very much and love the fact that I got these graded. They finally got back after quite a while of CGC holding on to them for absolutely no reason. But there we are, regardless of which. So here we go.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.